What's up, guys? This is Dom with Restricted America. This is a special episode, basically because Massachusetts just passed HD. What is it now? H4885, which is a huge, comprehensive gun ban um, on a lot of things, and it's just changing a lot of mass law regarding firearms. So goal.org has put out a initial summary. They've kind of compiled everything from the actual bill language and put it into kind of a readable format. It's still pretty long. I have read a lot of the actual bill, but there's a lot of cross-referencing. It's not an easy bill to read. But basically, I'm just going to go through some of the stuff with you. Kind of my own opinion. I'm not a lawyer or anything, and this is definitely not legal advice, but this is just how I see it as a citizen. So literally the first thing they put on there is ammunition. Section 3 allows the use of EBT cards to purchase ammunition, but not firearms. So, I don't know. Take that as you may. Antique firearms creates a separate definition for antique firearm, clarifies where a license is required to possess antiques/muzzle loaders. Any that use a modern primer may be considered a modern firearm. So I don't I don't know what the exact original definition was, but that definitely, from what I know, changes it a little bit to be kind of broader in a negative way. And then honestly, this is the main part that is really the sucky part for a lot of Mass residents. So this is the assault weapons and large capacity magazines. Assault style firearms essentially bans all semi-automatic firearms. Assault weapon. Assault weapon is the term they use. Two feature test is distorted by adding shroud, essentially banning every firearm that is semi-automatic centerfire utilizing a detachable magazine. They have a list of features that constitute a assault style firearm now, and it's a bit different than Maura Healey's definition or edict back in 2016. So yeah. Next, it bans any firearm recommended by Firearm Control Advisory Board that they believe should be listed on the assault style firearm roster. Grandfathering if sold, owned, and registered prior to July 20th, 2016. Technically, there was no registration requirement prior to the passage of this bill. So that first grandfathering date there, this is confusing a lot of people, but what I believe it to be is they're putting into law what Healey originally said. So any firearm that was, a copycat or duplicate, her words, like a AR style, like an AR rifle, that, had a pinned muzzle brake or something like that. No flash hider. Basically what a lot of people were buying before 2016 and then mostly stopped after 2016. So those are all grandfathered if they were bought and registered before 2016. But again, there was technically no registration requirement prior to this bill. Bans the possession, so Section 63 bans the possession of large capacity feeding devices by licensed non-residents. That doesn't really affect residents. So Section 71, assault style firearms, sets two grandfathering dates that conflict with the date in the definition of assault style firearm. August 1st, 2024, assault style firearms and large capacity feeding devices Bans possess, own, offer for sale, sell, or otherwise transfer in the Commonwealth or import into the Commonwealth that was not lawfully possessed in the state prior to August 2nd, 2024. So that basically, it grandfathers everything in that basically people have been buying pre-August for, this whole time between 2016 and 2024. So there's, you still have a little bit of time to go buy something, register it, get it in the system, and, according to this, you're fine. But, yeah, so, and then as far as the, standard capacity magazines go, or they call it large capacity feeding devices, those are only if they were owned and possessed in Massachusetts before 1994, you're allowed to keep them, but you're not allowed to transfer them to anybody, unless it's a licensed dealer, or out of state, or to an heir or person outside, to an heir. So if you pass away. So all of those are stupid because dealers aren't going to want your pre-ban magazines if they can't sell them to other customers, and out-of-state people, unless they also live under a ban like this, they're not going to want old magazines either, so that kind of sucks. So definitely, if you can afford them, I would say, again, not legal advice, but I would say to buy them before August 1st or before August 2nd, by August 1st. As far as those, they're calling them legacy large capacity feeding devices. They have to be kept on private property and only controlled by the owner. Not on private property, open to the public without the express permission of the property owner. You can have it while at a retail or a gunsmith, but only for repairs. At a licensed shooting range or competition venue. Must be stored unloaded in a secured locked container. Nobody's going to be doing that. Can only transfer to heir, or I already read that. So to qualify for the exemption for the grandfathering, the items must have been owned by an LTC holder or a licensed retailer. This includes most, if not all, semi-automatic rifles and shotguns under the new definition. And now there's mandatory registration, which is one of the crazier things of this bill, is they're not even kind of candy coating it anymore. They're saying that registration is mandatory. There's no getting around that. It's illegal if you don't, but it's also completely unconstitutional, as most people know that. So basically anything pre-94 is pre-ban firearms that we know of today. We call them pre-ban. Those are your kind of like Colt AR-15, AR-15s, the Renko Mac 90s. I'm assuming those are still going to be available for sale. You can still transfer those if they were, pre-94 weapons. I don't know what the legality of, having pre-2016 ban rifles. They call them pre-Healy rifles. Before, they were only transferable between private transfers, but it might open that up to dealers being able to sell those now. I'm not completely sure. And it also seems that it's gonna still allow the sale and transfer of firearms that were in Massachusetts before August 2nd, if they were registered before August 2nd, 2024, to be sold and transferred as well. So I'd say that there's a lot of stuff in here. There's covert weapons. No person shall knowingly possess, own, sell, offer for sale, transfer, manufacture, assemble, repair, or import any firearm capable of discharging a bullet or shot that is a covert firearm or an undetectable firearm. I honestly don't even know what that would be. Crime, I'm not even going to read this because it doesn't actually do anything, for crime. It just basically creates new crime punishments for legal gun owners. That's basically what it does. Data, it's basically going to create this data system where it's non-personally identifying data accessible to the general public through the publication of an online dashboard updated at least quarterly. The data will include an extensive, wide range of information. Again, I don't even know what that would be. There's no funding for that provided yet, as goal stated. This bill expands red flag laws. I'm not really going to go over that, but, more people can basically tell the police to take away your guns. Does stuff for firearm retailers. It kind of, it doesn't really affect people, like regular, customers. One of these things I saw in here, it says bans internet sales of firearms and ammunition unless the items are transferred in person. I actually cross-referenced that with the existing law in the book, and where it says that, it says what they're referring to, bans internet sales of firearms and ammunition. It already had said basically that same thing. So I don't think anything's going to change with that. I don't think they can enforce something if it's out of state. Someone selling ammunition or firearms, I don't think they can enforce that because it's out of state, into state. I think that was the problem with that same law before. That's why people challenged them on that. But I could be wrong. Stuff with retailer applicant training. Adds a bunch of stuff with ghost guns with 3D printers and milling machines. You can't really buy one if it's for the express purpose of, making a firearm. Bans non-resident youth hunting. Strikes the section of the law for furnishing firearms to minors and aliens. That's some legal exemptions. I don't really know what that means. Licensing, it adds more suitability requirements, which have basically been getting struck down everywhere. So I don't know how they think this is going to hold up in court at all. It adds mental health evaluation records, which is completely against the law. So that's going to be funny when it goes into court very soon, obviously. FID cards, so anyone that's 18 to 21 now can't have a semi-automatic outside of a officially incorporated club or license range. Must be under the supervision of an LTC holder. So basically, if you're 18 to 21 and you own a semi-automatic, they're basically saying you have to give that up, which will be funny. One of the other things I saw was machine gun license holders are banned from possessing newly defined automatic devices or automatic parts. And one of those things is actually a binary trigger, which was legal up until this bill in Massachusetts. So I don't know how they're going to go about that. I don't know if there doesn't seem to be any kind of grandfathering clause in there. So I guess we'll see about that. There's stuff about pepper spray permit. Stuff about possession of a firearm while intoxicated. Again, this is available on the goal.org website. I'm going to include a link in the description of this video. Adds a ton of prohibited areas, schools, municipal buildings, any private property where you don't have the express consent of the property owner. registration. There's no funding provided for this, but it's creating a new registration mandate. Everyone has to have their guns registered now. There's going to be new rosters. Currently, Massachusetts has a pistol handgun roster that they basically never update. And a lot of the handguns on there aren't even available for sale anyway, because the Attorney General has a separate list that you have to go off as well, that retailers have to go off of as well. Serialization. All firearms, frames, and receivers shall have a serial number. That's mandatory now. A bunch of special funds and commissions. Again, none of this is funded, so I don't know how this is going to go about. You can read that. Once you read that, I'm not going to go over that. Surrender of firearms. If a license is suspended or revoked, all firearms can only be surrendered to law enforcement, who can now only transfer them to a licensed retailer that is a bonded warehouse. If stored firearms are not returned to the owner, they shall be sold and the proceeds go to the state. Yeah, I'd like to see that held up in court. Stuff about training, licensing authority training, and retailers, they're all going to require new training to get an LCC, and obviously the trainers are going to have to be retrained by the state. It's a bunch of technical changes, and yeah, that's it. I'll probably be doing more videos on this. I just kind of wanted to quickly go over this so, my viewers and people that don't normally watch this channel but maybe live in Massachusetts can kind of get a little bit of an idea of this. If you want to get a little bit more of a deep dive, definitely go follow goal.org. Also Cape Gunworks, Toby Leary does a great job over there making videos, supporting our 2A rights, so definitely give him a watch, subscribe, like it. And make sure to subscribe. If you're not subscribing already, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and leave a comment if you can. And that's going to be it. Stay tuned, and I guess make sure to stay unrestricted, folks. I'll see you.